Blues, hello, welcome back to another video. Stephen here to talk about a very exciting, very interesting footballer, Florian Wirtz. Is that pronounced right? I don't know. Wirtz, if I get it wrong, what's the worst that can happen? I'm sorry. Anyway, we're here to talk about this exciting young midfielder, the German midfielder, the 19-year-old from Bayer Leverkusen. Hope you're all good. Welcome to the video. Do hit the like button if you want to after the terrible joke. If not, I don't really blame you, to be honest. And do subscribe to the channel if you are new. Only 16 more subscribers to get to 65,800. It'd be nice to get there. Let's do it by the end of the day. It'd be very much appreciated. So this is a very exciting little link. Before I do that, though, I want to quickly talk about today's sponsor. It is Football Prizes. You could win 2 hospitality tickets for the Manchester City versus Liverpool game, which is very exciting. Hospitality tickets for one of the biggest games of the season. The competition does end next Monday at 7:30. So if you want to get involved right now, there's a lot of tickets involved there, of course, but you can jump in and it could be an incredible once-in-a-lifetime kind of experience. Only £2.95 to enter. Once again, what is the worst that can happen? There's loads of instant prizes with wins as well, which include let's have a look. What do they include? I can't really find. The PlayStation 5, a cordless drill, loads of random stuff here if you zoom in, a laptop, absolutely loads of things. So there's loads of opportunities to win as well, other little prizes there. If you want to head over to the link in the description below. Good luck if you do enter, and fingers crossed one of you guys wins. It'd be lovely to see that. So I think let's look at the background of this. Let's look at the background of this in general. Manchester City, of course, as we know, look, we're staring down a future where some of our players are going to be leaving. I know, it looks like Bernardo could be leaving. It looks like, 𝙏𝙬𝙨𝙩𝙖𝙬 could potentially be leaving. Could be a couple of midfielders down by the time next season starts. And bearing that in mind, we have to be very realistic about a rebuild. We are going to need at some point as well, say it quietly, a Kevin De Bruyne replacement. I know it sounds awful, but we're looking at all 3 of those midfielders. Our current starting attacking midfielders are Bernardo, De Bruyne and Gundogan. They could all be gone in 2-3 years time, all of them, which basically means you have to start getting some replacements in pretty soon. Get them in now, get them in while we still can, you know. And Florian Wirtz is one of those guys where he's 19 years old. He's got a ton of experience already in one of the biggest leagues in world football. Now I'll jump over to his Wikipedia just to show you his stats. I mean, look at this already. He's already got 91 appearances for Bayer Leverkusen, which is incredible. 21 goals as well. Yeah, but 19 is remarkably impressive, you know, at this age already, despite only being 19 years old. He turns 20 in May. It's a really impressive, genuinely really impressive start to life. Of course, 4 caps for Germany as well. It's just really, really good. It's a very, very exceptional start to life. He's played an awful lot of football, and it reminds me a little bit in terms of experience-wise of where 𝙤𝙬𝙨𝙩𝙬 was at when we signed him, where he was about 19, 20, but had a season or 2 as well around the first team. So for me, I like this. Now, if you don't know much about Florian Wirtz, like, it's understandable, man. I've watched lots of compilation videos of him. I've not watched lots of Bayer Leverkusen games. I'm not going to sit here and pretend, but I've watched compilations because he's a very talked about player in general. Like, I'm reading that, Pac-Man. I've been paying attention to him for a long time because who doesn't? And if you don't know much about him, he's a very, very nice footballer. A lot of people said actually he's probably like a very obvious potential Kevin De Bruyne replacement. And to be honest, when you watch Florian Wirtz, he does sort of remind me of a young Kevin De Bruyne, where Kevin De Bruyne was a lot more of a dribbler. Go watch Kevin De Bruyne at 19, 20, and he definitely had some skills in him, and he definitely ran a little bit more with the ball. He carried it an awful lot more. And I can see that with Kevin De Bruyne at a young age. And even though he's a different player, he's a lot more of a decisive kind of attacking midfielder. He's not a Laporta kind of attacking midfielder. He's not your David Silva where he's going to hold on to the ball for ages, and not hold on to it for ages, dictate play. He's not that. He's more of a gifted kind of playmaker who will make things happen in the final third. And for me, I think Florian Wirtz is potentially brilliant if we're going to move where I think we're going to move. I wouldn't be surprised to see Man City end up with a double pivot kind of situation where they get someone like Romeo Lavia back alongside a Rodri. And then we need an attacking midfielder, an old school number 10. And it could be Florian Wirtz. It could be someone like him. Now imagine someone like Florian Wirtz with Foden on the right, Grealish on the left, you know, and Haaland running off them, or Alvarez. Oh, it's exciting. It's very exciting. I like him. So if you don't know much about him, once again, he's very elegant. He's a good height. He's not massive, but he's already got pretty good physical strength. Genuinely has. He bounces off challenges really nicely, and he's a very good dribbler. His dribbling does actually remind me of De Bruyne once again, how he's not like lightning quick, but he does have a tendency to get past people. Like, he just does. He seems to be able to drift past people really nicely, and he's really good at skipping past. He's not going to skip past 4 challenges, but he can always skip past 1 or 2 just to get his shot off. He's really good at a fake and a little kind of cut back just to get a little bit of space. For me, I am I really like his skill set in general. He clearly has a pass as well, and he's a very natural finisher. And only 19 years old with this experience already. When you get a 19-year-old, it's great because from Leverkusen, you don't have to play every single game. He would come in as someone we could trust at a senior level already, but there'd be plenty of time for him to develop and learn from the experienced players. And I like this. I like players who are at the start of their journey. Look, it's all very good signing a 60, 70, 80 million pound superstar. That was Ruben, if you heard that. It's all right. And there's nothing wrong with that, although it might cost that anyway. But in general, I like a player who's at the start of their career sometimes. Watching them become a Manchester City star, become a legend in football by being at Manchester City, to me, that's way more exciting. Like Leroy Sané, for example, no one associated him with Schalke after a couple of years. He was very much the Manchester City star. I know he was already a brilliant player beforehand, but he became a world-class star at Manchester City. And that's what I'd want Florian Wirtz to do. And I like those signings. They're just fun, man. If you're going to sign someone like Bellingham, potentially as well, Bellingham is going to cost about 130 million, and the problem when he signed a 130 million pound player, even if he's young, there is no real, anything he does is expected. If he plays brilliant, everyone's like, well, yeah, he should do. He's cost 130 million. There's no real magic to the story. Do you know what I mean by that? There's no real, like, you can't win, basically. You can or you don't. It's like no one's excited by it. It's not like, oh yeah, you signed Champions League. It's just Bellingham. Yeah, of course, he's great. He's great, and if he gets really better, everyone's like, well, yeah, he should have got better. Where Florian Wirtz, there's still a story to be told to a certain extent. He'd be a lot cheaper, and for me, him alongside imagine a midfield of Rodri, Bellingham, and Florian Wirtz. Kevel, I mean, that's lovely, isn't it, mate? Kevel Modi with a comment there. Bellingham would be the box-to-box who gets forward. Rodri sitting a little bit deeper. And Florian Wirtz a lot more of an attacker. So you've got a 6, an 8, and a 10 there. Very old school, that. That, to me, would be beautiful. Genuinely wonderful. And that's what I really want to see at Manchester City. I like signings potentially like this. He's just a really exciting little player. David Silva Regen says, Caleb. I hope so, mate. I hope so. He looks more Iniesta to me than David Silva, but he also look not too dissimilar to Foden, I guess, in a way, but not identical. But or just a very, very skillful, direct player that I would absolutely love, to see at Manchester City Football Club. I mean, there's loads of players, of course, as well. Like Tom said, what about McAllister? Yeah, Alex McAllister, really good player. I'll do a video tomorrow, actually, if you want. I'll do a video on potential midfield signings, but I would like it, Caleb with a super chat. Thank you to my main man, Caleb, saying, very much a David Silva remake. My camera keeps twisting around. Stop moving, camera. Very much a David Silva... One second. There we go. Let me fit that in the box. David Silva remake. Pep would teach him to defend. Exactly. He'd turn him into a complete 8 and whatever. And he'd make him a bit more defensive, but that would come with time. I agree, mate. He's a fantastic player. And I think as well, even though his ball retention isn't perfect, and I think he has a tendency to hold on to it a little bit too long, his passing completion isn't the best either. It's like 70-something%. City players a lot higher than that usually. I do think he has the technical ability, though, to actually get there. So Guardiola would improve his pass selection. It would improve his pass retention and all that kind of stuff. He absolutely would. So I agree, Caleb. Get someone like him right now and let him learn, because he's a very, very, very talented player. Just imagine that midfield of Rodri, Bellingham, Wirtz. Then you got Foden and Grealish and Haaland. Stupidly good. And Vardial, alongside your Diaz's and whatever. It just gets better and better. Now, of course, this has only come from Graham Bailey. He was actually pretty decent for once on the Haaland stuff. I know he's not the most reliable, but he has some decent connections there. And to be honest, I don't think Wirtz is at the top of Manchester City's list But I think he's very much on Manchester City's list. I think he's the kind of player that most clubs are watching. When you're as good as someone like him, I would not be surprised if Manchester City are paying an awful lot of attention. All the major clubs will be, to be honest. They'll all be paying attention to him because he's too good not to be, like not to be wanted by most of them. I want to see City go for something like this. I do. I like it. But at the same time, I'd be happy with McAllister. If we got Bellingham, I think we're going to get Bellingham, by the way. I actually think it's going to happen. I think Bellingham is going to be a Manchester City player. It's my big call. It's my big call there. I think he's going to go City because I think he wants to be the Premier League, and I think Liverpool can't afford him. So if we get Bellingham, I can see City still wanting another midfielder. I'd be happy with any of these. Wirtz, McAllister, Kovacic. I really like Mateo Kovacic. Controversial. I even think Mason Mount would be good at Man City. Don't shoot me. I think he was really good 3 years ago, and Chelsea have sort of bullied him into being shite, and I think he's got a lot of potential. That's my opinion. But as a backup, I'm on about. I actually genuinely think there's a lot of players that would be decent, but as long as you get the Bellingham one, after that, I'm quite relaxed. I think City will get it right, and I think Guardiola will improve any more midfielders that we get. So, to me, I think there is something in this. I think there is something in it. Mohamed to check Hugo Larsson for Sweden. I've never heard of him, mate. I'll have to give him a check. I've never heard of him personally. Nam doesn't see us getting Wirtz. Charlie doesn't see it happening. I'm not really sure about Pulisic personally, mate. I think he's a good player, but I think we can do better. I think if he was here, he would do fine, but I don't know about his general... I'm not sure. I don't get the right vibe from Pulisic. Just the way to describe it. It's not a talent thing, but I don't get the right vibe from him in general. I know a lot of the Americans want him to be great, but I don't see it happening. There's something about him as a person doesn't... I don't know. I don't feel it. I can't explain it. It's just... I don't look at Pulisic and think, world-class, dedicated athlete. I don't know why. I just don't get it. I don't see Madrid spending money on Bellingham. I just don't think it's going to happen. I still think it's going to happen. I think it's City's going to. I genuinely think it's likely going to be Man City. Kovacic is great, by the way. Like, if you had the expensive option with Bellingham, then Kovacic came in. Kovacic is 28 years old. I know he's had the injury here and there. I reckon Kovacic would be a cracking little signing. I think he's got such a natural ball retention skill set. He's a really good carrier of it as well. I think he'd cook in the Manchester City side. I think he'd have a very Gundogan kind of impact as well. I think Guardiola would improve his game. And yeah, I like the idea of someone like Kovacic. I think you have to be pragmatic. If you spend 120, 30 million on one player, you can't always spend it again on another. Sometimes you have to get a 40, 50 million pound in or something like that. And I reckon that wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. Tuchel said Kovacic is tactically incompetent. Look, there's a lot of players that get accused of being tactically ill, that kind of stuff, but then Guardiola gets hold of them and they get better. So maybe he is, I don't know. But Guardiola is a smart man and he improves players, the positioning and the tactical awareness, an absolute shit ton. So I'm not too worried about that at all. Louis, my man, says 𝙬𝙬𝙚𝙧𝖖𝙬 Wirtz, Leao and Chil would be the best window for us. I mean, look, that would be an incredible window, my friend. Louis, that would be like, well, that's a lot of money. That's a 10 out of 10 window. Even Chilwell, I think, would be a good player for us. Leao, well, yeah, just insane. I mean, the only thing I'd say there, I mean, that's 130. Well, there's 200 minimum there for Jude and Guardiola. Wirtz should be 60 million, 260. Leao, oh god, another 100, 360. Look, you're looking at over 400 million pounds there for all those players. City could recoup maybe 100 and 150 or something like that. So potentially, mate, but I think we won't spend that much money because I don't think City will do. I mean, it'd be nice, wouldn't it, if all those players came in, but that would be yeah, fun. I don't think we'll get Rafael. I don't think doesn't he want to stay in Italy? Didn't he say that as well? Didn't he want to say? He said he wanted to stay in Italy. Have I made that up? Maybe I made that up. You know, we'll see. Grealish has been sensational. Leo would be surplus. Maybe he has been. Maybe you're right. New York City. Get Dortmund left back on a free. Well, Guerrero, I'd take him as well. I don't mind the odd bargain signing because I think Guardiola can take a good player and make him very good. I don't think you have to have 11 world-class players to be very successful. You can have 5 or 6 and then some good ones. You become very good in the right scenarios. And like systems and coaching can help an awful lot. So what I expect Manchester City to do is have a couple of superstar signings and 3 or 4, 2 or 3 maybe functional ones. You know. I don't know much about the young Croatian centre-back, by the way. I don't know much about him at all. Like, what's he called again, the young Croatian centre-back? I know City have been linked to him an awful lot, but of course I've never seen him. He's 16 years old, and he plays in Croatia. So, is that 𝙏𝙬𝙨𝙩𝙖𝙬 I don't really know. Let me find the Romano tweet about him. I can't remember where it is. What's his name again, everyone? Livakovic. Yeah, well, apparently City linked to him. Scores goals, penalties, and crosses. You on about the Croatian guy, mate? Really? Well, the centre-back? You need a centre-back? Have I just gone mental? Where's Fabrizio? Let's have a look at Fabrizio's tweets. Let's find it. Fabrizio, here we go. Luka Vuskovic. This guy here. Yeah, apparently we're after him, aren't we? Big time. Let me find the other tweets he did about it. Oh, Romano, man. There we go. Well, Romano said versus Barca, Madrid and Liverpool. He's got to go somewhere. He's got to go somewhere, and fingers crossed it'll be Pity. I really like Wirtz. I think he'd be great. I'd love him at City. Let me see if I can find, you know. Where are we at? Here we go. It's Crazy Race signed Luka Vuskovic. City working on it after bid revealed 2 weeks ago. Oh, he's got Pini Zahavi as his agent. Yeah, I mean, he's going to go to the very top there because he'll get him a good move. Oscar Bob's great. I like him. I agree, but I don't think he's going to end up Manchester City in the first team, which is a shame. Liam, I would be all for promoting some youngsters, but I just don't see Guardiola doing it anytime soon, sadly. Maybe 1 or 2 will get a go, but the level is so high that they'll always prioritise people with, you know, top level experience, unfortunately, for the young players. That's just how it is. That's just how it goes, you know. We will see. We will see. I think we are going to have a very big, you know, summer. Anyway, guys, some thoughts there on Florian Wirtz. I will be live tomorrow. I've got the room ready for bed now. Like this video if you are a fan of Wirtz. Let me know in the comments your 5 ideal transfers. Let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching this. I'll catch you all soon. Bye-bye. In a bit.